So this is the ending of the house. You see me standing here. Pretty sad when you got to leave a house because of a bunch of weird shit that happens in the house. This will not be one of my normal videos. You know, this is actually true events that really happened. Well, we'll say about 6 months ago, we were getting a house. This is a good deal on a house. It was only $36,000. And figure out why it was so cheap. Nobody else wanted to buy the house, as we know now. But we didn't know any of the things that would happen. I went in, repainted it, fixed it all up, put brand new rug in. We just redid the whole damn thing. And I was getting ready to put some paneling up in the house. Of course, we kept having problems with this one part in one of the rooms where every time I put a coat of paint, and I must have had to do it 4 times, and underneath would just keep seeping through. So that was the first thing. I said, oh shit, there's something not right here. And then we took videos of orbs, and we figured, oh, you know, this ain't going to be a big thing. So we went into this house, and we were figuring that, you know, you're going to make it a home. Veronica will have a roof over her head, and, you know, hell, I could stay there, here and there. Well, unfortunately, your dreams get shut down real quick. And I don't care if you have 30, 40 years of paranormal experience. We had done everything we could in that house. I mean, there was times there would be noise, people whispering, and there would be nobody there. There were the nights where it was so cold in the house, and this would happen daytime, and I have the video on that. It would be beautiful outside. 2 of the rooms were the warmest, and the rest of the house, in the barn room as I called it, would be freezing. You could see your own breath. And it's the end of September, and you're seeing your own breath. And when I stayed there the first night, I was woken up by chills, not by heavy breathing, and there would be nobody else there but Veronica. And she would be right there, and she would be knocked out while I'm getting up through all the night trying to find out where all this noise are coming from. Veronica, things happen to her, things happen to me. In my case, is what it was. I was doing the painting in a room one day where I was just into that painting, and all of a sudden I thought there was noise coming from downstairs. I thought Veronica was still there. So I'm yelling for Veronica. I'm saying, Veronica, you know what's going on? Are you okay? And footsteps are coming at me, and there's nobody there. So I just go back to painting, saying it's my... You always want to look for, let's put it, a logical explanation. And that's what I did. I said, well, it's probably the wind, even though there was no wind outside. And all of a sudden, the footsteps approach me. There's nobody there. And as I'm standing there, a coldness, and it just got these damn chills. Now, mind you, it's warm out. This is impossible. And the house all of a sudden starts getting cold on the 2nd floor. And I'm standing there, of course, I darted out of the house. I got out of the house as quick as I could and waited for Veronica to come. And I've been doing paranormal for a long time. As a matter of fact, I take this with me wherever I go for paranormal. And we use sage in every place we go, and I did sage throughout that house. Sage. And nothing seemed to work. And then I come to find out there was 3 spirits, 3 female spirits, and 1 very crude guy. And the house is 1800s. So you know a lot of bad things happened, and then they're told it's a possibility that back in the 1800s, underneath the concrete slab that was in the back, that there's possible 3 bodies buried back there. Well, what were we going to do? Have them dig up the whole backyard and inside the house? Well, we couldn't do that, and we couldn't afford it. As it was, like I said, the house was very cheap. It was going, nobody wanted it. And then the next door neighbor says, do you know about this house? Of course, since the Amityville Horror, whenever you buy a house, they're supposed to tell you if there was any murders done in that house, if there have ever been any supernatural stuff going on. We were never told this until much later when the last person that lived in the house said he was violently assaulted by a female spirit in the upstairs bedroom. Then on the stairwell he was pushed. So we didn't find any of that out. So of course we're going in this blinded, and I said wherever you go, you always should have a camera, stake the place out for the fact that if there's any damage that was done to the house that was not told into the contract, then you could take that back into court and you could settle it in court. But in this case, it was just paranormal activity. There were flies. When it got cold, there were living flies that would fly in the upstairs and downstairs. And it would get real cold, and I couldn't figure out why flies would be flying that time that cold. Well, that's a sign of unholiness. A priest would tell you it's a sign of unholiness. And then there was, of course, people who played with Ouija boards and what would let, evil come out and never close the board. I don't like Ouija boards. I have no dealing with them. This is more for protection, and I bring this pretty much wherever I go to protect myself. Story about this house and what it did to Veronica and I is no laughing matter, and it's no joke. And you can believe it or you not believe it, that's your choice. But I know what happened to me, and I know what happened the very last day that I went there to move Veronica out of the house. First of all, when I got to the house, I was feeling great. I was roaring to go to move her. And as I'm going up the steps, all of a sudden my legs just bolted. They just became so painful. I get in the front door. I'm filled with chills now. I got heavy clothes on and everything. It was not that cold outside. As a matter of fact, it was 52 outside. Okay, but in the house, we had the heat. She had put this heater on. She had the heat on, and there was no heat coming out of nothing. And I'm standing in the doorway, and I'm just shivering like that. It's constantly cold. You can't keep it warm. No matter what you do, you can't keep this house warm. It's constant cold to chill. And all of a sudden, we talk about rage. We talk about hate. Let me tell you something. I've never hated so much in my life than I did that day, and I had no control over the feeling of wanting to hurt somebody. I mean, physically just wanting to hurt and not being able to control yourself. And I don't do drugs, and I don't drink, and I don't do any of that shit, and I'm a pretty spiritual guy. And for me to attack Veronica, and I'm not physically, I didn't attack her, but I was picking up things and just slamming her around like it was nothing. And all I did was attack this woman verbally with hateful remarks, and it's unbelievable. And then she was getting very hateful, and we were just like going at each other with this hateness. I have never in my life, I was stabbed by a guy 19 times, okay, and I never had the hatred in my heart for that guy the way I had this day, just being in that house, and the nastiness, the vulgarity, the hate, and all that hate was like something felt like it was controlling me. But this was pure evil hate. Nothing I had ever felt before in my life. And for 6 weeks of my life, that's why I didn't do a lot of videos up until probably February, probably mid-February to late February. I just couldn't put myself together. And now there's that block between me and Veronica, that what this house did to us, it took the closeness we had and broke it. I'm not even going to say, what Veronica went through. I don't know how she did it. In this video, you'll hear some of the things she said, but she's talking about doing a live stream about this house, and it's taken me a while to even talk about this house because what it did to my life and how it changed me. And I mean, I would do hauntings with no problem as far as the cemeteries, but I don't know if I could ever go into somebody's house. What Veronica and I went through and what we lived through now, I mean, I still have nightmares. The pillow that was at the house, that was on the bed, on my bed, when we moved the pillow over here, every damn time I went to sleep on that pillow, I'd have nightmares. So I ended up just tossing the pillow, and anything that really had anything to do with there, I just kind of got rid of. And we lost a lot of, first of all, we lost a lot of money. If we lost 10,000, we lost that. We lost all the materials that I had put into it. We left all of our furniture there. That was, everything we had was pretty much tied into there, more from Veronica than me because I live in a high rise. So she lost so much stuff. But the thing that I said, we'll take our loss, take your loss, and get the hell out and save your sanity, because if any longer that she or I would have stayed in that house, I would be afraid of what the outcome was. I think that's the closest to evil. This was pure evil. And it was just so messed up. The owner came back to reclaim the house, and we left it that day, took the stuff, threw it in a U-Haul, got the hell out, and we haven't been back since, and we will never go back again. And this is my side of the story. Veronica has much more horrid tales. I mean, the fly ordeal, I couldn't believe what I saw. I had only seen that one time before in my life, and that's back in '82 when I was being adopted by a family, and there was flies of the velour, and it was snowing out, and they had windows open. So, I mean, I faced a lot of this, a lot throughout my life, but nothing that made me feel so damn evil that I could barely control this hate. I'm not a hateful person, never have been. And whatever was in that house did not want me there. To hear about the chilling things that happened to the last owner, and us not being told about it, I'm not going to make a big thing and get lawyers involved and all that. It should have been in the information that we asked for about that house. The house is 1800s, we understand that. It's on Indian land, okay? It's on American Indian land where there were civil wars and fights going on at that time. So when you think about the four spirits, there's one spirit that's supposed to be a good spirit. There's another spirit that stays down, I believe, in the basement or outside. And there's the other spirit that she's very mean and cruel. And then there's, of course, the vicious guy who's in the barn room who is very mean. So now that we know we're about the spirits, and I know this is a long video and I'm sorry, but I had to talk about this, and this is something that needs to be talked about because it was a terrifying experience in the short amount of time I was there. But it even had to be worse for Veronica, and she will tell you her side. Like I said, I'm sorry this is a long video. I promise I will never make another long video like this, and I will never talk about the house. Thank you for the subs that people have subscribed to me, and nice comments that people have made. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. And we hope that this doesn't scare you away or that you unsubscribe from me. Till next time, God bless, stay happy and healthy and safe. Monica's back. This has been a very interesting video. It's warmer outside than it is in that house. Fucking, my hand just froze in the house. I come back out here, I'm getting some feeling back. On our way, we're leaving here. I'm gonna take some video of it because I ain't fucking never coming back down here again. And forgive my language, but we've been through hell and back, and people don't even know what we've been through.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to sleep without having to wear my coat or gloves.
A lot of bad things happen in that house all damn day, but it's been hell for us. The garage door opened itself.
And that happened when I first got to the house too, remember?
Yep. And you didn't have the remote. It was in on the fucking counter. We're putting everything in storage. Here we go again, folks. Off on the road and on the road.